My name's Chris, and this is my 2006 BMW M5 E60. I've had it for 6 years now, and for 3 of those years I've been making car vlogs, building the car, showing you guys the ups, the downs, the adventures we've taken it on, every issue that's come up along the way, all the people we've met. But today I think I want to talk about the very love-hate relationship I have with this car. I show you guys all the fun times and all the great days of what it's like owning one of the most unique cars ever built. It's a V10 four-door sedan, 507 horsepower stock with an F1 inspired engine. They do not make cars like this. That being said, this car has a reputation for some really bad maintenance issues, and those days definitely do come up. And for someone like myself, who's younger, who doesn't have all the money in the world, those days can be really, really tough. So I want to talk to you a bit about what the relationship is between me and this car.
I absolutely need to fix the fitment on this front bumper. Jesus. But we did give the car a little bath today because spring is here and it's time for it to become the daily driver again. So it is looking pretty nice. Except for that, we don't like to see that. So something I always talk about on the channel is how much fun this car is, how unique it is to drive, how great it is to drive, and all that is true. The car does come with some dark days, and because this is kind of a vlog channel built around this M5, hopefully more cars in the future, I actually want to show you guys the real honest truth of what it's like to own it, and give you a kind of a look into the not so fun days, like we're kind of in right now. So one thing I've noticed about owning a BMW M5 E60, especially one that I do not drive during the cold months or the winter months of the year, so that's kind of between October to, I would say, March, or October to February, only taking it out on dry, warm days, is it's a car that kind of sits for 4 or 5 months of the year for me. And like I said, I've owned the car for 6 years now, and completely honest, pretty much every single spring when we start up this car and bring it back, even though we store it properly and we take really good care of it and we've done all the preventative maintenance on this car, something does tend to go wrong at least once a spring every single year. And why today is not such a great M5 E60 day is because we have another issue with the M5. And the reason this one kind of bothers me more than the others is because a couple of years ago, I'd say 2 years ago, we had a really bad year for the M5. Bad luck in the summer. The SMG pump, one of the most notoriously unreliable and expensive repairs on this car, went twice in the same summer. We ended up sinking like $8,000 Canadian into the total repair. That one really, really hurt. But that's one of those things where, okay, we got a new SMG pump in, that's something we shouldn't have to worry about anymore. The year before that, the power steering went, so okay, that's fixed. That's something we shouldn't have to worry about anymore. Then just things like getting new brakes done, all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much normal. But these bigger things that tend to pile up year over year start to hurt a bit more each time, if you know what I mean. And the reason this one hurts so much is because this year was really the year that we decided to take the deep dive with this car. And when I say that, what I mean is we decided to take the deep dive with YouTube and committing to building this car with all the known maintenance and the known issues with it so that we can build something super unique regardless of the cost. So we have a full mod plan for this car set out. We've already started it. We just installed the rear diffuser down there. We restored the custom axle back exhaust. We've done a few things. We've spaced out the wheels. We're doing some performance mods next. All this stuff is planned. And we're doing it this year because I thought, very naively, that all the maintenance on this car, everything that's gone wrong in the past few years, all the major stuff that's gone wrong, has gone wrong, and there's nothing more to worry about. We haven't had an issue with rod bearings. The SMG pump is taken care of. Engine is fine, there's no issues there. Again, like I said, power steering's fixed. But we just took this car out officially for spring. It's back to being the daily driver. And yesterday was the very first drive I took it on in the spring. I was super excited, car is back. Beautiful out, it's like 25 degrees Celsius here in Toronto. The perfect time to take this M5 out and see what it's got. And we're on the highway for about an hour. There's absolutely no issues, no problem. We get off, I pull into a parking lot, car stalls. That's kind of weird. It's idling really, really rough when I turn it back on. It's below 0.5 RPM. This car usually idles between 0.75 and 1 RPM. Turn the car back on. It's on for about 10 seconds, chokes a bit, stutters, and dies again. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, we just got the car back. This can't be happening already. And I immediately took it to the shop. We've kind of become a regular there. We're on a first name basis because with an M5 E60, that's just kind of bound to happen. But it turns out there was something wrong with the idle actuator, it sounds like. So that's a repair we may need to do coming up here. But I had another look at the car and I thought, okay, what if it's something else? And
My dad helps me a lot with this car for sure, and he's pretty knowledgeable on cars. So we had to look together, and he thought, well, it's sat on a quarter tank of gas over the winter. You haven't driven it much. Maybe it's just got bad old gas in it from last October and November. I said, yeah, that's probably got something to do with it. So we filled it up, drove a bit better. We took it to the shop, and it looks like during storage, something happened when we disconnected the battery or when we placed it on a trickle charger. And one of the connectors on the battery, specifically this blue one here, something must have happened. It got disconnected and it was really messing with the idle of the car. So this was unplugged and the car was idling and dipping from 0.75 to 0.5 to 0.25 to stalling over and over and over again. We didn't know why. And while the car was on, we went ahead and plugged that in, and it seems like it fixed the problem. So no problem. The shop doesn't even charge us. Shout out to AutoTrend if you're in Toronto and you want to get your BMW fixed. AutoTrend on Broadview is going to be your best friend. But of course, we go home and I'm pulling in the driveway, and what happens? Engine malfunction. Definitely not something you want to see on the M5 E60. So the car is kind of sat. Since then, I've driven it today and it's okay after it's sat overnight, but this car does not run well hot. Burns a lot of oil. It's an older car. It's 2006. So it's one of those things where, you know, it could be so many different things that it's like, okay, which one do I sink my money into to try and solve? And it just can be tough. And I want to be honest with you guys about, you know, it's not an easy car to find, and I know that, and I know a lot of people want it. And I'm the biggest advocate for the M5 E60 out of anyone out there. I will deal with all this. I'm okay with this, and I know what I'm getting into by owning this car. But I also want to be honest with you guys about the life of the living with the M5 E60 and the not so good days when the problems arise, and how to be able to handle that and prep for that, and maybe having some money aside for maintenance when things do go wrong. It's a used car, it's an older car, it's a V10 engine, you know, it's a BMW. It's going to be expensive, it's going to perform really well when it works, but when it breaks, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna hurt the wallet. And it's just something for you guys to be aware if you're getting into a car like this. That being said, this is still one of the coolest cars I've ever driven in my entire life. I wouldn't change it for the world. I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of the not so great days with this V10 beast. But we are going to be okay. I'm hoping it's nothing serious. If the engine malfunction continues, we're going to have to take it back in. We're probably going to have to buy a idle actuator to even out that idling. When I turn it on now, I'll show you guys. The car is idling okay right now, actually. It's right around the 0.75 to 1 mark. It's cycling a bit. Let me show you what I mean by cycle. You hear that? It's kind of sluggish. It's like, and that is a bit of our concern at the moment right now. That being said, another reason it hurts so much is because it's spring, car season just started. I want to take this thing out, and I do not want to be in a car that I'm scared to drive because I think it's going to break down. That is one of the more stressful things about the M5 E60 is when things like this go wrong, and how often they can go wrong. When things start to sound just a little bit off, or it starts to drive a bit weird, you immediately go to, you know, this car's going to stop in the middle of the road, in the middle of an intersection, in the middle of the highway. What do I do? And then the drive doesn't become fun anymore. And yesterday was one of those days where the drive was not fun on the way back, with the car continuously stalling. I was basically sitting at every single light, popping the car into neutral, and manually revving it up to 1 so that it wouldn't stall. And so it's a very love-hate relationship. We have lots of good days, and I'm going to show you guys every single one of those good days on this channel while I build this car, because 9 out of 10 of those days are good days. But every so often, it's just a reality with the M5 E60 that some of the days are bad days. And today was one of those bad days. But we will bounce back, and I appreciate you guys supporting me the whole way through. As a side note, we also just released brand new BMW M5 Enemy Automotive E60Ts. Available at apparelbyenemy.com right now. All the car clothing and accessories you're ever gonna need. Let me know what you guys think of that. You get a 10% discount code when you sign up on the website, so make sure you take advantage of that. Get yourself some car clothing. You're gonna find something you like. And I promise the next video on the M5 is gonna be much more positive. we do have a new mod coming. It's going to be a performance mod this time. We've done a lot of cosmetic recently, like the rear diffuser on the back. So it's time to go to performance mods for the next one. I posted on the community tab exactly what it's going to be. If you want to see what it is for a teaser, go check it out. If not, make sure you like and sub so you can see it in the next video and you keep caught up. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. My name is Chris. Thank you.